Are you guys on WhatsApp now? Alright, so just go to your WhatsApp. I'll send the link. On your desktop, you just copy it. Use that. Or just do it this way. Come and take a snapshot of it. So they just show them. Who has Google Lens on their phone? Everybody has that. This is a link. But if you go to the page, if you actually go to your audience, see me there. I'm live now on the page, so you can see the link there. Okay. So this is the. Please just go to audience always. I'll show you. I don't want to label this. Let's make it fast. Go to audience always on YouTube. The broadcast has started. Audience always. Just share the channel link. Search for it on Google. Search for audience always. Just type audience always YouTube like this. Then YouTube. It's on YouTube already. That's always on audience always YouTube. Audience YouTube. That's what they. So I like the You did the link, right?
Yes, I did.
You took the link. Who took the link?
I'll send it to you.
Okay. Click on the link. Might not even see it. That's why I said use no space. No space. That's where can you follow the link? Use your phone. Give it okay, I've seen it. How do you get it? It's Google that you actually have. They just have audience which are you browsing link or Google? That's it. Audience always YouTube channel. The first one. Click on it. That's the dictionaries of Python. Have you seen it now? Yes. Okay, let's get started. Send me a comment. Let me know that you're around. Just post a comment on the chat. Let me see those that are. Send a comment in the chat. So I know that. Okay, Daniel, I've seen you said hey. I've seen Danielson. Next, no other person.
I'm there.
I've not seen you.
I don't have Gmail account.
Elijah has sent his own. I've seen your. Did you see my response, Elijah?
Well,
Did you see my response, Daniel?
yeah, so
Okay. Have you seen my response now? Okay, now let's get started. Daniel, Kelechi, what did you say?
I'm there. I want to sign in. Yeah,
It takes about 15 seconds for comments to come in. Okay, hi, okay. Welcome. Yeah, I've seen your comment. I've sent the response. Okay, let's see. Dictionaries in Python is what we're about to discuss. Let's leave out any distractions and get ready. The slides will be on the screen. I want to share my entire screen so you can see what we're talking about. The issue is we need something to connect the TV. Don't worry, I'm showing my screen. You'll see. It won't be a delay. It won't be that serious. You'll see it yourself. Okay, can we see the screen now? Tell me what you see. Dictionaries, part one, right? Please make sure you use an earpiece. Make sure you use an earpiece so you can hear me properly.
So, with the open discussion,
All right. Let's get started. First of all, I welcome everybody to Boss Level Python. That's the course we'll be looking at. Boss Level Python is a course that addresses issues surrounding Python and Flask. And this topic, for the sake of those joining us for the first time, has to do with addressing issues surrounding dictionaries. And we would like to explain what dictionaries are, look at the basic syntax and concepts surrounding dictionaries, how to work with them in Python. First things first, what is the dictionary? If you take a look at your screen in front of you, right now you should see dictionaries and the definition of a dictionary. A dictionary is a more general version of a list. A dictionary is a more general version of a list. Now, we all know what a list is. A list allows us to enter in items of different data types, and these items can be looked through using their indexes. What we would like to do is for us to illustrate what dictionaries are and what they represent. So before we get started, I would prefer if the listening audience can create a new Python file and name it dictionaries in our PyCharm. Please, let's do that quickly. I'll leave the listening audience to do that. Create a new Python file in your PyCharm called dictionaries. There should be an S at the end. Once created, please let me know if it's done by sending me a message in the chat. I would appreciate a message in the chat. Once you're done creating it, just send a message in the chat and we can move on then. Send a message in the chat once you're done. If you have created your Python. Okay. Alright, let's look at dictionaries. Let's look at a list. A list, we said a dictionary is a more general version of a list. Now, from our understanding of iterable are things that allow you to look through their content. A list is an example of an iterable. So if I created a days list by doing this, days is equal to, you could follow along as I'm doing this. Follow along as I'm doing this. So I created a days list. Please do as I'm doing this. Follow along. And I decided to say print days of index 11. Print days of index 11. Days of index 11. From our knowledge, put an input statement there. Please make sure everybody listening is following through and doing this. So you have print days of index 11. I would like for us to run that and see what we get. The output you should get at the end of the day should be December. Should be getting December as your output. Confirm that you get 30. Sorry, what you should get is 31. Sorry, what you should be getting is 31. Confirm that you get 31. Create that list first of all. Those are the days and the months of the year. 31, 28, 21, 30, 31, 30, in that order from January to December. So the output is December. Let's look at how, if we wanted, let's look at this. If we wanted the number of days in January, what we would need to input would be print days of index 0. That returns the number of days in January. That has to do with working with lists because you cannot reference items in a list without their indexes. So if you look at my screen right now, if I show you the output, what I get is what? 31. I hope we can see that. You should be able to see 31 on my screen. So, however, if I wanted the days of January, all I'll need to say is print days of 0 based on our knowledge of lists. That also gives us 31, right? That also gives us 31 because we have 31 days in January. That gives us 31. If I needed that of February, I would have to say days of 1, index 1. That returns the number of days in February. That should give us 28 in this case, which you can see in the output. Now let's look at how this applies to dictionaries. The slight difference between dictionaries and a list is the fact that when you're working with a dictionary, you are not working with values alone. You are working with keys and values. Take note of these things. You can write a few things down. You are working with what? With keys and values. That would mean that each item in a dictionary is a pair. Each item is a pair. If I scroll down a little bit, you will notice that these days that you have here, you have days is equal to the January column 31, February column 28, March column 31, March column 30, column 31, April column 30, in that order. Each item in your dictionary is separated by a comma and is a pair on its own. So the key is the string, which is January. The value is 31. So we have your key first before your value. It's always key colon value. That's how a dictionary works. Your key first, then your value. First of all, I would like for us to create this dictionary. Comment out the previous code that you had, and let's create the dictionary. Days is equal to January, what you have highlighted on the screen. Let's have that ready, and then we can proceed. Create that dictionary that we have there. So this is a now reflective of a dictionary of days and the months of the year, as against a list. We're no longer working with a list. So let's create that dictionary in our pie chart. Please let's do that, listening audience. Let's replace it. If I were you, I would just replace it because now we're working with dictionaries. You can break it at a comma, just like what you see on the screen. Break it at a comma. So you have that. Just break it at a comma. You can. All right. This is now a dictionary. If we have dictionary ready, let's just have a response in the chat. If the dictionary is ready. Now, in order for us to get the access to the values now for the number of days in January, like the way we did for the list, and the number of days in December, like the way we did for the list. What we need to do in this scenario is to say print days of, and you specify the key. In this case, I need days of December. Let's start with December. Then we're going to work with days of February. And finally, we're going to say print days of January. Let's see the difference between this and what we get when working with a list. Once you have the code, you are free to execute it. So you should observe that what we are getting now would be 31, 28, and 31. Let's also try that of April. We know that there are 30 days in the month of April, just to have some context. So let's have print days of April. So I'm going to explain in a minute what a key is and what a value is. Let's run that now. So what you should now have should be 4 outputs. The first will be that of December 28, 31. Then you have February 28, you have January 31, and April 30. Those are the values we get. Question: why did I have to use December, February, and January? Why didn't I use an index? The simple answer to this is that when working with a dictionary, you cannot use the index to reference any value. You can only and only use the key to reference the value. In this case, the value we're trying to reference for December was the number of days in December, which is 31. So we need to tell Python that we are using the key December to reference the value. When you print days of December, you are saying print the value for the number of days in December, using December as the key or as the reference in this case. So when you have December, days of December, December serves as your key in order to access the value. That's how a dictionary works. The same thing applies to February. February has 28 days, so the same thing happens. You are saying use the key February to access the value in that February, which is 28 in this case. That's why that works. Confirm that it works, and let's move on. So how do we create dictionaries by default? By default, the way you create dictionaries is to say, here's a simple dictionary. You have B is equal to A colon 40, A colon 100, sorry, and B colon 200. Which of these things represents your key, and which of these things represent your value? Which of them represent your key? Which of them represents your value? Can you send that in the chat for me? What is your key and what is your value there? Let's look at it. What's your key? What is your value? I need a response in the comments. What are our keys? This scenario would be A and B. And our values in this scenario would be what? Would be 100 and 200. Let's print is instance of D column space dict and then print type of D and see what we get. Please let's create this dictionary first of all. Let's create the dictionary. I have my J's dictionary, but this time we'll be creating the dictionary D. It's a dictionary consisting of two items A and B, whose values are 100 and 200 respectively. If I decide to print its instance of D, comma, and then dict, what I'm asking Python here is D or does D belong to the dictionary class? That's what this means. Does D belong to the dictionary class? That's what this means. Well, for the second one, what I'm saying is what data type is D? Those are the two things. So the first, on line 3, what we have is print is instance of D, comma, dict. That means you're asking Python, is D an instance of the dictionaries class? Every object you create in Python belongs to a class. For instance, if I create something in quotes, it belongs to the string class. If I create a normal integer, it belongs to what? The integer class. However, in this case, if I create D and I define it as a dictionary, I'm asking Python in this case, does D belong to the dictionaries class? If I execute this now, let's see what we get when we execute this. First of all, it tells us true. Yes, it does belong to the dictionary class. That means it's part of that dictionary class. The second response you are getting is the data type of D is dict, which means it's a dictionary. That's what we're getting there as a response. That's one of the best ways to know what the type of object you're working with as far as dictionaries are concerned. So to declare a dictionary, what we do is to enclose it in curly braces. Each entry consists of a pair separated by a colon. The first part of the pair is called the key, and the second is called the value. If you look at the slide, that's what it says. The key acts like an index to reference the value. So in the pair A colon 100, for instance, the key is A and the value is what? It's 100. So if I do D of A, that gives me 100. If I needed to check B's value, what I would say is print D of B. Please let's try that and see what we get. Print D of B. Print D of B. Let's do that and confirm. Print D of B. You're free to put an input statement below that. Just to have some. Print D of B and it gives us 200. Now, dictionaries allow us to change the values also of an item. But in order to change the values of value of any item, in this case A is supposed to be 100. If I needed A to be 400, all I will need to do is tell Python, first I comment this, I would say by saying let B of A be equal to 400. By the time I print my dictionary again, I should have a new B. Let's see what happens when I do that. What I get is A 400, B 200. Let's pause for 5 minutes and then we can revisit the session. Response. What's going on? You have issues?
Things coming to. Just only one online and not in here right there.
Yeah, but you are hearing me, right?
Inside here. So
when you talk, I can't even it looks like what you are saying, if you say something now, I will hear it. What you said before, I will hear it.
Oh, that is
So you know I'm not saying I'm not saying that. That's why I said that you should display it on the TV. So the following one on the TV, and the one your online is still mute.
Are you seeing my screen?
yes. That's why I'm just following
I
you
can
one
feel
online.
you saying
I just ignore those parts. Like it's always
Well, when I'm doing it live, you see, is there a delay?
Yes, it's
Yes.
On the
yes, it will be like 20 seconds, 20
15 to 20 seconds.
delay.
And
As
the
in-
Wi-Fi is slow.
Wi-Fi is also slow. But you're not using
I'm
this.
not using it. For me to get your own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, let's do it this way. You said that thing is not working, but I saw them using it.
No, this one.
Did they take the other one?
No, the other one is
How many of you feel we should put it on?
I don't know where you come from. Where are you now?
So essentially, we're having different receive. What is it? We're receiving at different rates. That's what. That should explain why when I say something, you don't get it. I don't get it. Okay. It's a good thing we have it on video. So
Yeah, you can record your video. Let's follow
the one that is directly on the computer. I think I agree with you. Let's make that. You understand? So that
Sir, just continue like that. Just focus on your.
well, like we have different.
You can mute yours.
you have to understand. If you see my screen, you can be following what I'm doing, even when there's a delay. Don't even
Yes.
hear.
Yes.
That's what it's saying. I don't know if you are following what I'm doing. If you are seeing my split screen now, as I'm doing, showing the slide, I'm showing you.
Following what you're doing.
Yeah. Now me, I'm behind you. I'm still following from here.
Everyone is lost. Yeah.
Let me see what you're doing. Don't worry, I'm still broadcasting. That's what I told you. Let's do this. Everybody was saying, I'll do my own. Now you don't. Yeah, I think it's too long. No, I think it's too long. Most cases, you are so what we do this one, I don't know that's you connect to okay, let's
So this method now, don't be like and class one.
yeah, just $1.
That is that print type from an if is meant to return true.
No, it's instance that print type you just print that to as text. Print type is supposed to print the data type for it.
I'm gonna show my because it's just in the class.
No, just say print. Just say print the type of the bracket.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You can connect directly. There is a software free. That's for everything. That's a good suggestion. I don't know how it's going to affect our broadcast, but let's see. Because this one is going to send video. I actually thought about it, just that I felt that sharing the screen might be better.
But sir, you still share the screen.
I will still try and share the screen and see how it will affect
So that reading online gets.
Yes.
Yes, but what if we're sharing this on screen?
When you are too, you want to check. Are you still seeing my screen now?
Let's see. Laptop is very important.
How is that our own issue now? We said connect to this one. Did you connect? I'll stop sharing. Let's
Okay, I'm following you from here.
I know I'll share again. Let's just. Jerry, when you do something, look at what. Phil, that's not where the problem is. The problem is from this connection. This wire that is going. Check this wire that is going to it. It's not tight. If it's tight, you will see the blue. There's a blue light that's supposed to show you. It's on now. Leave it. Okay, welcome back from the break. I would like to welcome everyone back from the break. Before the break, we were looking at how to create a dictionary and confirm what data type it is. Fact, the truth is, as a programmer, our job will always be to confirm the data types we're working with so that we don't have issues, um, when it comes to working with dictionaries or lists, as the case may be. Okay, so I do believe we can see the screen right now. I've just shared the screen. So before the break, we said here's an example of a dictionary. D is equal to A colon 100, B is equal to B colon 200. That's actually an example of a dictionary with two items. And we said if we print its instance of D comma dict, what we're asking Python here is we're asking Python. We said what we're asking Python here is, does D belong to this dictionary class? That's what we asked Python. Does it belong to this dictionary class? And the second statement says print type of D. What this means is, what data type is D in this case? So if I decided to do something like this, print is instance of std, comma s. Let's look at what this gives us. Print is of d, comma str. Let's see what happens when we do this. You will notice that the result we would get in this scenario would be false. Why? Because you said, does D belong to the string class? Now, that's what you asked Python. So in this case, what you should be getting is false. But if you decided to test it with also list, does it belong to the list class? You should also get a false message. However, when we say, does it belong to the dictionary class, then we would get our Boolean response as true. However, in the second statement, we're saying what data type is D, and that returns dictionary, which is dict. So let's look at another example of a scenario where we need to change an item in a dictionary. What if I needed to change the value of A, which was previously 100, to 400? All I would need to say is the dictionary name of the key is equal to the new value. That's how it works. Dictionary name of key is equal to new value. In this case, to be D of A equal to 400. If I print D at this point, put an input statement here, and I decide to execute this, what I get in this scenario is a new dictionary D, which is now A400, B200. Thirdly, what if I needed to add a new item to D, which is a dictionary? All I'll need to do, let's put this in comments. If I needed C now in this dictionary, instead of adding manually, I can use the general syntax, which is the same thing I said before. Dictionary name of the key is equal to value. So that would mean B of what? C should be equal to 500 in this case. So I'm saying, what I'm telling Python is, add a new item to this dictionary, let the item be C, let its value be what? 500. By the time I print D now, don't forget there's already a print D statement below that. There's a print D statement below that. If I run that, we should have a new dictionary with how many items now? 3 items. With 3 items. That's how we work with dictionaries, essentially. So we said to declare a dictionary, we enclose it in curly braces. Each entry consists of a pair separated by a colon. A pair, or separated. The first part of the pair is called the key, second part is the value. The key acts like an index to reference the value. What's the general syntax? Dictionary name of key is equal to value. Once you remember this, you don't have an issue with dictionaries. How does an empty dictionary look like? If we say, for instance, I needed an empty dictionary, all I'll need to say to declare an empty dictionary, I could just say, you know what? I want an empty dictionary, let's say names. Names should be equal to this. This is an empty dictionary. I can decide to populate this dictionary by saying, let names of um, Tolu. Let's work with real data now. Why don't we work with real data in this case? Let's say student details. Let's say student details. Now let's work with real data where the names stu underscore details. In this real data, what we are trying to do is to say, let us have all names of the students as well as their ages. So I could say let's have Philip, whose age will be 25, for instance. And if I print student details at the end of this, I put an input statement that you see that this dictionary will no longer be empty. Because in the first line I said, give me an empty dictionary. This means make this is an empty dictionary. While in this line, I am populating the dictionary. Populating, that's adding items. The dictionary. And on this line, what am I doing? I'm displaying what? The new what? The new dictionary. So if I run this, let's see what happens. You have, using the general syntax, you have Philip as equal to 25. Now, which will be better? Doing this singly or doing this in a loop? If I needed multiple items, it makes more sense to do this in a loop by sending in multiple items. We're going to see that in a minute. Let's see how that works. So since we already know what an empty dictionary is, we're going to answer a question similar to that. What do you sincerely think this code that is in front of you does? I need a response in the chat. I need a response in the chat. Tell me what this code does. Analyze the code. You have 1 minute to analyze it and let me know what you think it does. By just analyzing it, what do you think we're saying? Yes. In the chat, okay. Write it down. Let's write it down and just see how it works. If we cannot analyze it immediately, let's just write it down. First of all, we'll explain it as it goes. It says 2 details equals to an empty dictionary for I in range 2. Student name is equals to input enter name. Mat number or matric number in this case. Input enter matric number. Then we have dictionary name, which is student details of student name is equal to mat number. Then outside of the loop, we're printing student details. If we have the code, I would like us to execute it. We're going to test this code using these inputs. We're going to test it with Tessie, and this should be Tessie's matric number. We'll also test it with Nathaniel, and this should be Nathaniel's matric number. Please run that, and once you print out the dictionary, tell me, because you're free to just analyze the output. If you are the right output, you should get a dictionary consisting of two items. Please confirm that. Okay. All right. So for the student name and matric number twice. What we have here. Let's look up. Ask for the student name and matric number twice in a loop. Okay. Other response. All right. We're done. Let's just analyze this. So we're done with this. If I execute this now in my pie chart, let's see what happens. Let's take this off because of what it does already. Let's off. If I execute this, let's see what I'm indenting will not be an issue. Alright. So we said the first should be Tessie. The matric number for Tessie is Unilag 054. And it also asks for a second input, which in this case will be Nathaniel. Right? What is Nathaniel's matric number? Because it's in a for loop that is supposed to execute twice, that's why we're seeing it. And then we get our dictionary. But take note, every time we ask for a student name as well as a matric number, in our loop, sequentially, get the name, get the matric number, pass it into the dictionary using our normal dictionary syntax, which is what? Dictionary name of key should be equal to value. So what that means is that you are telling Python by using this syntax, let the key be the student name and let the value be what? Matric number. That's what that means. Whenever you're using that syntax, that's what it means. It's always dictionary name of key should be equal to value. So I would like for us, I'd like the audience to add 2 more items to this dictionary manually. You are free to add 2 more items to dictionary manually just to have a better understanding of what we're doing. Let's also try this while you're doing that. On your own, you could do that on your own. However, let's look at this example. An example says you can use a dictionary as an actual dictionary of definitions. What does that mean? If someone says define what is, let's say, a bulb. What is a bulb? We know what a bulb is. If I needed to make it easy for anybody that is reading that's trying to execute my program, all I need to do is put bulb as my key and put what the definition of bulb as what? My value. That's what I'm just doing here. Let's look at that. We have animals is equal to dog, has a tail and goes woof. Cat says what? Meow. And a mouse is chased by cat. So we could use a dictionary as an actual dictionary definition. Yes, it's possible. I would like my listening audience to write this down also. And then let's see what we get when we run. We're going to run some code using this. And at this point, after that, we call it a wrap for this video. Let's write this down. Write it down. Put it at the top of your page so we don't have to still keep commenting and commenting. Animals is equal to a dictionary consisting of dog, cat, and mouse with their respective definitions. Just 3 items. 3 items in our dictionary. Quickly, let's write it down. You will notice that the keys are strings and the values too are strings in this case. Values don't always have to be integers. Values can be any data type, keys can be any data type. It all depends on what you are trying to achieve with your dictionary. Now, mouse. The key is mouse, and its value is what? Changed by cat. Cat is our key. Says meow is our value. Dog is our key. Has a tail and goes wolf is our value. So, if I needed to get the definition of any item in this dictionary, whether it's a dog, a mouse, or a cat, I will need to pass in the key, just like the way we did with A and B in the previous example. We also did that with January, February, and April. Remember, we had to pass in the key to be able to access the value. Had to pass in the key to access the value. So the way I would do that is to say, says using the code below, we can get the definition of a word from the dictionary when we enter a particular word in that dictionary. And then it says, here's an example. Here is an example. Word is equal to input, enter animal name, print. The definition of the word is animals of word. Definition of the word is animals of word. Let's look at that. Can we write this code? It says word is equal to enter animal name. Let's write those 2 lines of code. It says word is equal to enter animal name. And then once we're done entering that, put the next line to be the definition is, then you put animals of word. Those 2 lines, these 2 lines highlighted are what I need us to write. The definition is, then you have animals of words. What am I telling Python when I do this? I'm saying, pick the name of the dictionary, pass the word as a key, pass the word that the user sends in here as a key, pass it as a key into our dictionary. When we pass a key into the dictionary, you remember when we had days of April, days of January, the same principle. This one was days of the key, which was January. In this case, it is animals, which is our dictionary name, of what? The key, which will be the word that the user sends in. So when the user sends in that word, and we hit the enter key on this, you will get the definition of that word. Let's see how that works in real time. Let's see how that works in real time. So I will pick this, and I will go to my PyCharm. In this case, I would also pick my dictionary, which consists of 3 different animals. Let's see what happens when we execute this. Put an input statement below that. So you have animals, and then you have, which are like your dog, your mouse, your cat, and your mouse. Let's see what this gives us. We have, first one, a word. What word are we looking for? We were told by the slide that we should test it with, our test input should be mouse. So let's try for mouse. If I copy mouse as my test input here, let's see what I get. Expression is what? Chased by cat is what I get. Let's rerun this. This time we're going to test it with a key. The key we're supplying in this case will be dog. We should get has a tail and goes loose. Let's run the same thing for cat. Cat, and I get says meow. However, there's a caveat. When working with a dictionary, the key you are supplying has to match with the one that was defined in your dictionary. It is very important. If you look at this key is a string that is in lowercase. This other key is a string that is in lowercase, the same thing here. If I supply a key that is in any other case, there will be a key error. Let's try that. The same mouse, but this time in uppercase. There's already a problem. It's telling us there's a key error. Why are we getting a key error? Because Python does not see the mouse in uppercase as a key in the dictionary. What it's saying as a key in dictionary is a mouse in what? In lowercase. That's why we're having that issue. How do we protect ourselves from this kind of scenario? Okay, if I know that all my keys are in lowercase, when I'm asking the user for input, I should change the user's input to lowercase in that scenario. So I'll say dot what? Lower. In the process of collecting the input, I change it to lowercase such that regardless of what mistake the user makes, my key, what he sends in would have been converted to what? Lowercase, so that we'll be able to get that definition in our dictionary. So when I execute this now, and I still send the same mouse in uppercase, look at what happens. There's no issue. So I hope we've gained value from this video. Please, if there are any questions, comments, let us know in the comment section. I'll appreciate a response to this video. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and let us know ahead of time what your issues are. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.